record.
Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of Keto Chat. I'm your host today, Carole Freeman. I'm your host today. I'm your host every day. Oh my gosh, today I'm so excited because I get to share with you Carmen's journey working with me. And one of the reasons we get to do this interview is she's now one of our peer mentors at working with supporting everyone else on keto too. So welcome, Carmen.
Hey. Are you?
Are you excited to be here? No, I know you're not.
Not really, but yes.
I know you're nervous. So everyone watching, give her some thumbs up and love about her bravery for being here, even though she's a little nervous. So, Carmen, I know one of your when we first talked before we started working together, one of your big drivers was that you're so passionate about keto that you want to help a lot of other people. You want to help everyone else.
I do. Yeah. I just think it's the best thing. I just can't believe how good I feel. And when I tell people about it, they just look at me like, yeah, right. But it's true. They just need to experience it and feel it.
Yeah. Excellent.
But I told my doctor about it yesterday. So I had a doctor's appointment, hadn't had one in 2 years. And I told her about it, and I said, one of the things that I notice is my joints. Like I feel like my joints have been lubricated, like somebody put oil on them.
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah.
Me, okay, that's not possible. I said, yeah, it is.
No, it's so true. Because I remember, I'm 49 now, but when I turned 40, early 40s, I remember talking to my mom about how in the morning, like getting up, it was like my ankles felt stiff and I had to move around a little bit to get going in the morning. And she's like, oh, honey, yeah, that's just part of getting older. Ha ha ha. And then probably 3 months into keto where I had that realization of like, wait a minute, I don't have that anymore. Like I don't have stiff anything in the morning. It's like I just get up and feel as good as I feel the rest of the day. So then I was like, Mom, it's not normal.
Absolutely. That's how I feel. I couldn't even put my feet on the ground in the morning.
Yeah, it's great. And we know now why that is, but if your doc says that's impossible, it's okay. We can just keep enjoying the benefits of it and all that. So, part of what I want to, do here is highlight your journey and success that you've had in working with me, because it's so inspirational to other people to hear people's success. So, take us back to, before you started working with me, like what was your life like? What was it like living in your body? What kind of things were you, unhappy with?
Well, that's exactly what I was discussing with my doctor yesterday. So it's been 2 years since I went to see her. And one of the issues 2 years ago was that on a mammogram, it turned out that I had enlarged lymph nodes. And that kind of scared me a bit. I was like, okay, what's going on? So I went through ultrasounds. I was supposed to do a biopsy. They didn't end up doing the biopsy because they said they still looked normal, but they were just enlarged. And that kind of got me thinking that I've got to do something. I was told that my lymphatic system was probably sluggish and I needed to move. I needed to do something to get it moving. And I'm not an exercise person, although I've started to exercise recently. But I just knew it wasn't going to happen that way. And I've always gone to dieting. So it's like, okay, I know I'm overweight. I need to lose weight, but I just can't keep the weight off. So that was 2 years ago. But prior to that, I had also a numb leg. So for my right leg was always numb. I sat one time for hours and hours at my computer. And then from that day forward, I always had numbness in my leg. I had done a few DBT tests. Everything came back normal, but I always had this numbness and I had pain in my legs. So my legs, it wasn't the muscles, it was the surface of the leg. So if you touched the skin on the leg, it actually felt like everything was bruised. So all of these things started adding up. And then I had this big birthday coming up. And I thought, it's only going to get worse. So I needed to take charge of my health. And I don't have any diagnosed diseases, and I put in capital letters yet, because they're on the horizon, and I knew that they're coming on the horizon. My mom had a ton of diseases, so I just wanted to make sure that I can take back my health and try to minimize anything that would come up. And keto it is.
All right. Excellent. So had you, tried keto on your own before starting to work with me, or?
I had, so it goes back a little bit. So I had investigated keto. I was doing some research on it for about a year and a half before I started with you, Carole. I heard about it from a parent on my son's volleyball team. And I bought every single book at Costco. I looked at all of them. They looked all wonderful, all these recipes, and it was just overwhelming. I couldn't figure out what macros were, what I needed to do. It was just too much information. Um, and I just started to follow some people on YouTube, like what did they eat for the day? And it's like, okay, what did they eat? It was just still, I just needed guidance. Like there was just too much information. So your guidance was actually the perfect thing.
Excellent. Okay, so that's a very common story is that people, I was talking to a guy yesterday, actually, he says, I keep looking for like just an easy how to get started with keto thing, and there isn't. It isn't out there. Why? And part of it is because
too much information.
Yeah, there's too much information, and also what works for each person is very different. And so that's why there's no one like here's how everyone should do it that works for everyone. So that's why there's so much info. The good and the bad of the world we live in now is that there's a plethora of info, but most people out there try to consume it all and they just get more confused and overwhelmed. And so
no, that's exactly what was happening.
Yeah. So you got a plan, a program, a step-by-step implementation to get started quick and easy. I'm just
Yeah. And that's what I needed. I don't like to be told eat this and this and this. It was pretty easy because it was all very basic. And I think I mentioned right from the beginning, I'm a grab and go kind of person. I can't pre-plan too many meals or meals. And I talk with my hands. I got to stop that.
No, it's great. That's me too.
But I just needed it to be simple enough. And when I reviewed the information, the beginning, it was just simple enough that it wasn't anything that I had to spend a half hour to an hour pre-planning or preparing. I went out and got the groceries that I liked according to the list of, foods that we could use. And I just went with that. So everything I made for my kids, I made in a way that I could eat it. And I didn't have to make something for them and something for me.
Excellent. Fantastic. So let's talk about your results. So the first chunk of, time we worked together was over a couple of months. And I've got the list of results that you got. Do you remember what happened over the first couple of months?
I think I do. I don't know. I did lose weight. That was, number one at the time was losing weight, but how I felt actually was even better than just the weight loss because, like I said earlier, I don't have the pain that I was experiencing. I felt like an old lady, and I don't want to feel like an old lady. I want to have energy, and it was like I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the brain functioning. It felt like my brain was always in a fog. I left my purse at Walmart in the shopping cart one time, and I got home and I didn't have my purse. I'm like, oh my God. And it was like, what's going on with my brain? So all of this stuff improved along with the weight. So the weight during the first time that we worked together was around 28 pounds, I think it was. And then from there, I continued. I've lost a little bit more, but I've noticed that there's been more bodily changes as opposed to scale changes.
Yeah. So I've got the list of all the things that we talked about after a couple of months. So the weight loss, lots of inches off your waist. You were reporting no cravings, no desire for non-keto foods, improved brain fog, like what you were just sharing about the leaving your purse behind, the joint lubrication, and the numbness is improved. So this was at this point probably about 6 months ago was when we looked at this. So how's the numbness now? Has it continued?
No numbness since then. Nothing has really changed. Still no cravings, none of that. And I don't have it. And I wouldn't say I'm 100% following the original instructions, but I'm pretty much about 90 to 95%.
Yeah. And then your heartburn went completely away too.
What's that?
Your heartburn went away too.
Oh yeah, none. Yeah. None.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, excellent. Congratulations on all that. Must feel amazing. And I know you are, because you just said you went to the doctor and we're like,
Oh yeah, no, and it's almost like, okay, you know, maybe you need to tell people to do something like this. She had
mm-hmm,
actually referred me to a clinic. So there's only, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm in Canada,
mm-hmm,
and we have one medical doctor that is covered by our health insurance that doctors can refer patients to when they do have a weight issue. And she had referred me to the doctor 2 years ago, and there was just too much going on at the time. But there are some similarities with keto. It's just that keto, I find, is easier because a lot of the foods that were restricted on that diet, along with most diets, are the fatty foods that keto has, like the bacon that I couldn't have. Like, I stopped eating bacon for years.
oh, okay.
I'm like so happy to eat bacon.
You guys have one weight loss doctor. That's amazing. He must
No,
really
there's
busy.
several, but only one that is covered by the health insurance, so that you
Okay.
can, when you don't have to pay.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. Well, so what tips would you have for people that are watching this? Like, what tips would you share as far as keys to your success?
Stick to the plan because it really works. And the tracking of the macros, that is so important, because one of my fears when I did start, or concerns, not fears, when I did start, was I was already what I considered low carb.
Mm,
Through years and years of dieting, I learned that I had to be low carb. I just didn't realize that I still wasn't as low carb as I needed to be, and that there's carbs in vegetables. Who knew?
yeah.
So tracking really, really is an eye opener to see what is in your foods, and then knowing how to manipulate what you're eating to still feel full, but to get the benefit of the foods you want.
Okay, so tracking is key. Discovery for
Huge,
carbs.
huge.
Yeah. Follow the plan.
Like, one onion has 9 grams of carbs. That's crazy. I use onion, or I used to use onion in absolutely everything.
Yeah, that was one of the eye-opening things for me too, as I started trying to do recipes later on in my keto journey. It was like, oh my gosh, I got to relearn how to cook now.
Yeah.
Other tips. Okay, so stick with the program, stick with the plan, track everything. Any other tips, things that you think were really instrumental in your success?
Not so much. I really didn't have much time to officially prepare. Like, I when I decided to commit with you, I said, I'm starting like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bother trying to figure anything out. But again, because I had done some other experimenting with dieting and low carb and all of that. But one of the things that I brought over from, I stopped smoking 2 years ago, 2017, was the fact that I had to be mentally prepared. It doesn't matter how much you want to lose weight. You can say it all you want, but if your brain isn't in it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So be
That
ready.
would be my main one. You need to make a commitment, but it has to be psychologically prepared for it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So what's your outlook on keto going forward? What's your plans, goals? What do you want to do with your keto inspiration?
I still want to do a little bit more weight loss. I'm happy where I am. I feel great. I wouldn't mind getting down another 10 or 20 pounds. 20 pounds would be fantastic, but I'd be happy with another 10. And I'd like to support anyone who wants to do keto. It's just, I think really it's the way to go.
Yeah, and I love that, because I know, again, when we first started, one of your things was like, I want to be Keto Carmen. I want to influence everyone. I want to tell everyone how great this is and help heal everyone. And so I'm so excited to welcome you as one of our newest peer mentors, and helping be able to coach and support other people on keto. And I get to guide you as you support and share with everyone else on the rest of your journey. What are some non-scale victories, other things that you've, things that are different now in your life that you're doing that you weren't doing before?
Well, you're going to laugh, but we went away at the beginning of January. And last summer actually, so I had already lost most of the weight last summer. And I bought a whole bunch of those Brazilian cut bikinis and like one in every color. And I wore them all on my vacation.
Yay! Body confidence. That's excellent. How fun. Nice.
It was like, okay, I'm 50 and I'm wearing this. I don't care.
Nice. Good job, lady. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your success, your story. You're very inspirational for a lot of people. And anything else that you want to share in closing? Anything else you were hoping I would ask about, or any other thing you want to share?
No, I think just in terms of one of the things I like to talk to people about when I am talking about keto is like all the benefits for different diseases. And that was another motivator for me because my mother had just about every disease. She had arthritis, osteoporosis, low thyroid, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol. She developed multiple myeloma, which is a bone marrow or hematology cancer. So she had a whole list of them. And I knew that, and I know that, you know, potentially I may develop one of these. So to me, it's important to minimize whatever is going to come up. And I just think for people in general, there's so many diseases out there. Every time you talk to somebody you haven't seen in a while, and it's like, did you hear so-and-so has cancer? So-and-so has this. Let's just be healthy.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I'm so excited that you're on that path to the healthiest you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm already getting the benefits. So, Carmen, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this interview. We'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.